Hi, everybody. Welcome to Below Deckspert, a podcast that recaps current Below Deck seasons with two Midwest millennial siblings. I'm Morgan,
I'm Lane.
and today we're recapping Below Deck Med Season 8, Episode 5, Max Tension.
That was a pretty good name for the episode.
It was, yes. Oh, my printer just decided to randomly make a noise. That's good. It's possessed, I swear. Every printer is like possessed with, they just decide when they want to work and not work and make noise.
Yeah, mine does the same thing and it's not even plugged in.
I know, I'm not joking. Um, anyway, another note at the top of this episode, I am very sick, which is why we are recording via Zoom today. We are not in the same spot. I wasn't actually sure if I was gonna make it this week. I was telling Brad, my husband, I was like, you might actually have to record with Lane. That would have been very interesting.
I was
Um,
thinking about that too. I'm like, if she can't, it's just me and Brad, and we'll just see where that goes.
yeah, I mean, it's probably gonna happen one day. I mean, one of us is gonna have something, I'm
Yeah.
sure. So I have my glass of water here because my throat's doing okay. It was really sore this morning. But it gets really dry, so I have to like stop and take more breaks than normal. Um, so yeah, that's why I sound like this, and that's why we're not together.
Yeah. And also, sorry. Well, I'm not sorry about my background. I love my background, but it's probably very distracting. So, I don't know, get over it.
Well, I mean, you did it. You put the
I
background
did.
together. It could have just been a white wall.
Yeah, but that's boring. I think it was because we've done a couple episodes like this. And I
Yeah.
think we did one where it was right after I moved like my whole setup in here, and I think it was all white.
Yeah. No, it looks
And
cool.
yeah, I like it.
That's the point.
Where's Oh, there's a gap right there. That's what I'm seeing. And I also hate this poster. I need a new poster.
What is it?
It's a poster for Jaws, and I hate that movie.
Oh, okay. Where'd you get it?
Amazon.
So you literally bought a poster you
Yep.
hate? All right.
Yeah.
That makes
Because
sense.
I forgot that that was from Jaws. I'm like, oh, that's a cool poster. I'm gonna buy it. I'm drunk. Who cares?
Oh man.
Anyways, enough about me. Let's talk about Below Deck.
Okay, so the way our episodes work is we start with two quick questions for each other based upon that week's episode, and we chat about that a little bit, and then we focus on 2 to 4 main points throughout. So, I have a pretty generic question for you today because I was like, again, like I didn't want to focus on the interior drama, which subsides this
Yeah, we're
episode.
finally done with it.
Well, we'll see if we're finally done, but it was at least like a nice breath of fresh air, right? Because it's like I couldn't do that for another episode.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite cast or crew member so far?
Uh, that is a good question. Probably Luca.
That's a good one. Pretty
Like,
unproblematic so far.
yeah, and he just acts like the way I want everyone to act.
Yeah.
Like, you give him a compliment, you give him a promotion, he's like, thank you, and
Yeah.
then just kind of moves on. Where like
Mhm.
anyone else would be like, "What's up, bitches? I'm your new bosun."
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, he's done very well so far. We'll see how he can handle Max. So, I mean, we'll talk about Max a little bit this episode. Nothing
Yeah,
too crazy has happened, but I think he's gonna have to be more of a disciplinarian than he has had to be before.
yeah, and he even says something like, I'm very level-headed, but sometimes you just push that right button and I'm gonna explode." And
Yeah.
am I looking forward to that? Yeah, a little bit, but
Well,
you
I was
know,
gonna say, and we don't exactly know what that means. Like, it doesn't quite. It may hopefully it doesn't mean that he gets crazy and yells and stuff. It's hopefully it's like I I'm cool, calm, and collected until I don't have to be, until I have to like I don't know. You know what I mean?
I'm guessing it's kind of like me. Like, have you ever seen me yell at anyone?
I don't think so.
Well, I have, and it's like I get all my ducks in a row beforehand, and then I'm like, "Fuck you."
Yeah. Right. Well, I think of dad too, like our dad. I've only seen him like insanely mad. Probably can count on like one hand. Um, but yeah,
Couple more for me, but yeah.
he's serious. What happened?
That's not a Phillips head.
Oh man. Okay, what's your question?
My question is, how much did you love going live with Joy?
Oh, I didn't even literally I was like, "Oh, I have to talk about that," and I totally forgot. It was really, really fun. So if anybody tuned in, or it is also posted on her, it's posted on her Instagram. She didn't tag us, so it doesn't show up on our page. Anyways, long story short, I went live on Monday with Joy, who was a recent charter guest on that last charter. Um, she didn't get a ton of airtime. She wasn't the vegan and she also wasn't the primary, and they only really focused on those two.
Yeah,
But she was so fun, and
she was.
yeah, Lane was in the comments and that really helped, kind of like commenting about what we were talking about. We talked for about 45 minutes.
Yeah,
Um, and she just answered some cool questions, gave us some insight on what it's like to be a charter guest on a yacht and to be on below deck. Who she loved. I mean, she said Toomey was her favorite, and she
yeah,
also said that they were not aware of any of the drama, that they kept it very like separate from the charter guests, which I thought was very interesting because I never knew if I mean, I'm sure that maybe in the past charter guests have caught on to some drama, but she's like, no, we had no idea anything was going on.
yeah. I mean, I can remember a couple times where like a guest would walk into the kitchen in the middle of an argument, and they're like, "Ah,
Yeah.
shit." But yeah, it doesn't seem like any of that happened.
Right. Well, and yeah, you get those guests that'll like wander down to the kitchen and the crew doesn't even know like what are you doing here? Like, but they
Yeah,
they weren't like that. And she said she's like there was so much more that they filmed that they don't use and I'm like that makes sense. I mean, they probably like do this with every charter with all the guests. They record absolutely everything and they can't fit everything into the episode. She's like, but there was everything. Jet skiing, swimming, the slide, the trampoline, like and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so jealous. She was talking about how they were in the water all the time. And I'm like, that's what I would be doing. I probably wouldn't even be a very entertaining charter guest because I would just want to be swimming and on the trampoline and not being
yeah,
not being dramatic.
yeah. It would be like me and you out on the lily pad, just
Yeah.
getting hammered.
Oh, oh my God. I'm so sad. I'm supposed to be in Arizona right now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so I got sick a few days ago and I thought it was allergies. And then I woke up, what is today? What even is today? Thursday?
Thursday.
Um,
Yeah,
Yesterday it hit me pretty bad and I was like, nope, I'm actually getting sick. I was supposed to be on a plane this morning, and my plan right now is to be on a plane tomorrow morning. So we'll see if I wake up tomorrow morning like I woke up today. I will not be on that plane, but I'm sad because I am supposed to be like drinking fancy drinks in Scottsdale right now. Sad. And it was such a gloomy Midwest day today, too.
oh,
I
it
was like,
sucked.
it wasn't super cold, but I was like, this is like the opposite of what I would be seeing right now in Arizona. It'd be 90 and sunny.
I know, literally, like you, mom, and dad would all be in nice weather, and it'd be like, fuck them.
Seriously, my our parents have been in Arizona for like a week now, and yeah, they're loving it. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm supposed to be there, but we'll see. Like I said, if I wake up, it all depends on how I am when I wake up in the morning.
Yeah,
All right, should we get into it? Stop talking about me.
sure.
Okay, here's what I have for oh God. See, sorry. It's like it's like weird, it's like a dry cough, It's like it just gets caught in my throat.
Yeah.
So for the main points I have Toomey and Natalia getting along
Mhm.
now, Max having trouble just doing his job.
Yeah.
And then I have Lara's promotion, which is a big deal, but like there's not a ton to be talked about it. But yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we're still used to the 2 episodes a night.
Right. I'm
And
still
like
adjusting.
this was such a first episode of the night. Where
Mm-hmm.
like kind of exciting, couple things are getting set up, and then next week's gonna be crazy.
You think? I thought
I
that
think
was
so.
I thought that was the way, like obviously like last week's episode when we were talking about like how there was not much. This week's was more exciting. But yeah, I mean, we say this every week, but like when you get 2 episodes, you just get more stuff. So you're right.
Yeah.
Probably only gonna be about 2 to 3 main points because there's only one episode. Um, but yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you want to start out with? What do we got first?
The guests leave the boat and they leave a fat tip for everybody.
That's I'm glad you wrote that down because I was not paying attention. What was it?
If I wrote this down correctly, it was 26,000.
I think it was yes, I think that was around. I didn't ask Joy about that. I should have. I'm always interested in the dynamics of the tip.
Yeah.
Because I've heard, and this is literally only through someone who got offered to be on Below Deck and didn't do it, that when she got offered from Bravo, they said it would be this amount of money per person or
Mm.
this amount of money total or whatever, and that included everything. So like tip and everything in the charter.
Hmm.
So that's what I've always been confused about because I'm like, okay, and I think we've briefly talked about this. Like, so does Bravo have a little bit like more power over the tip than the guests do, or does that amount cover like the minimum tip? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
15%, and then anything above and beyond you add to that. I just don't know, and I should have asked that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that because you don't really see a tip anything lower than like 18,000. At
Right. You've
least,
never seen someone give like 5 grand, like that
yeah.
would be crazy.
So yeah, I'm guessing they tell them to bring that much and then they can bump it up from there. I don't know if it's 18,000 or 15,000 or whatever,
Right.
but I mean that would make sense
Yeah.
because if you get a group of people on there that just genuinely don't know that you have to leave, 20 grand for
Mm-hmm.
at like a decent tip, it's not going to end well.
Yeah. That would make the most sense. That, yeah, there's like a minimum threshold. And if the people don't choose to leave anything extra, it's just what they gave at the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I'm usually the one to put on the tinfoil hat about Bravo, but it kind of makes sense.
No, it does make sense because, like you said, we've never seen it be insanely low.
Yeah.
Like it's been low, but not like anything like, 5% or whatever.
I think the only time that I can think of was like literally the first charter of the first season of Below Deck, the regular show where they get caught with drugs on the boat and they don't get a tip at all.
Oh, and yeah, maybe, I just literally lost what I was gonna say. I'm thinking that was like a special scenario
Well, yeah, they were kicked
of,
off the boat.
but I almost wonder if, again, if that group had paid, I know which one you're talking about, like they had clearly paid to be on the boat,
Mm.
they're not going to get a refund. So I'm sure that the crew still did get that minimum tip. Maybe we just didn't see it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they didn't do that back then. Who knows?
Yeah, whatever.
Or they just said that they didn't, and then at the end of the charter, who
Right.
knows? Who
Yeah.
knows? What was that like 12 years ago?
It was a while. So yeah, the guests leave and everybody's like super excited for the night out. Everything seems to be going like really well. I was very surprised at how everybody was so excited and getting along,
Mhm.
essentially. Um, and it just keeps going that way. Like they get ready, they're getting along, they go out to dinner, they're getting along, and it's very surprising.
Yeah, yeah, it is like they flip a switch, and
Yeah.
they're just like everyone's kind of butting heads, everyone's just kind of pissed off at each other, and as soon as they get off the boat, everyone's holding hands,
Yeah.
giving piggyback rides, making out in
Hmm.
the car.
Seriously. Hey, I'm all for it. Like we've always said, like I want to see everybody get along. Um, at some point in the night out, Haley apologized to Max for like yelling at him about docking.
Mhm.
And I was just kind of like a little bit put off by the way Max responded to that. What do you think?
Yeah, I didn't like it either.
He didn't
Where,
really take any responsibility or like I feel like when normally if somebody's like, "Hey, I was like a little bit out of line," sorry, with the way I talked to you or the way I said this thing. Usually the right way to respond is being like, I really appreciate that. Like, yeah, it was like really tense. We were probably both acting like we, normally wouldn't. Kind of like
Yeah.
share responsibility. Plus, he like wasn't innocent in that. Like he was not doing what he was supposed to be doing, or he was trying to tell her what to do, or I don't know.
Yeah, it just seems like he doesn't respect anyone else's opinion.
No.
He thinks he knows everything, and then that turns into like, all right, she's okay in my book. She apologized for
Mm-hmm.
yelling at me, but he leaves out the part where like yelling at me while I was fucking up.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, I
I don't
just
have time for those people.
I didn't, yeah, I didn't like that. Just the way he said it. But she seemed fine and everybody was already kind of like a little drunk too, so I think nobody was like gonna get super offended by anything.
Yeah, and I don't know if she even would have apologized if she wasn't drunk.
Right. Yeah.
Like
That's
those,
true.
have you ever done that where like you're pissed at someone and then you're drinking and in the same area as them, and then you're like, you know what? I'm gonna go apologize. And then you
Yes.
go apologize, and the next day you're like, damn it. Like I didn't want to do that. I'm still pissed.
Yeah. Yeah, or you're like I don't know, maybe this is more of like a female thing. Like you're like, "Ah, I don't know how I feel about that girl or whatever, but then you get a little bit drunk and you're like best friends.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of the same the same idea.
I think guys do the same thing.
Yeah.
It'll go one of two ways. Either you do that, or like the second you get half a beer in you, you're like ready to fight the
You're
guy.
like, nah, I'm gonna fight this guy.
You know what? No, I'm gonna go kick that guy's ass.
So Jessica gets really drunk. Um,
Mm. Like very, very, very drunk.
yeah. So she starts puking when they get back to the boat. What else? Anything else from when they were like out at the club or the restaurant? I just have notes for when they get back to the boat.
Not really. I mean, Toomey and Natalia kind of apologize to each other.
Yeah, they just kind of have a conversation like Toomey says again like yeah, we're just like so alike and maybe that's the issue and Natalia agrees.
Mm.
Uh and again, I kind of agree with that too. Like I think like Toomey, Natalia, and Kyle all have a lot of experience and that can be tough on boats or just in any like work environment where like they're all pretty equal. They all know a lot
Yeah.
and there's a power dynamic there. So I totally get that and I'm glad that they finally just conceded to the fact that like hey, we can just be cool.
Yeah. Especially like, all right, we don't work that well together, but they don't really work that much together.
No,
Like Toomey's never
exactly.
down in cabins.
It's true.
Natalia's never on service.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. It's mostly Kyle and Toomey like with service and yeah, so there was just no need for that to be like that and let's hope it stays that way. I don't know. I think what I heard was Toomey say they talked it out and they're cool. So and that was recently. So I think maybe more stuff goes down with Kyle, but I don't know that with Toomey and Natalia anything else goes on.
Yeah, it'll, I mean, to keep the show going, it's either got to be two of them have to be dramatic towards each other. That's
Yeah.
just how Below Deck works. I
Mm,
mean, who else is going to get dramatic? They
right.
already have the side thing with Max, but that's not dramatic enough to drive the whole show.
Yeah.
Haley's not dramatic. Laura's not dramatic. Luca's not dramatic.
Hmm.
So it's got to be one of them. And
Yep.
Jess seems pretty cool. So,
We'll see though. I think there's some stuff that goes down with her too. I think somebody said that on
oh, it
YouTube.
does. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I just said the hot tub is crazy because Toomey and Natalia are bonding. But other than that, like, oh, we flashed to like Laura and Luca making out.
Yeah.
Very random.
Very random. Like I kind of think that's just more of like like the not them making out, but the way they both responded from it is
Hmm.
just like we're Americans. It seems like we would respond differently.
Maybe.
we'd be like, hey, whoa, sorry, that was a little weird last night. And they just brush past it. They're like, you
Or
know,
maybe it's just the culture of the yachting industry too.
that could be too, or just
Yeah,
drunk people in general.
right. Yeah. But whatever. That happened.
Yeah. And then
Then
she says something weird about like, it was like kissing my brother. Wait, that came out wrong. It's like, how could that come out right?
well, she knew it before she even said like the whole sentence. She's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, yep, no, that's not what I meant."
Yeah.
Hmm. Funny. And then Natalia, the only other note I have, like right before they go to bed, like Natalia and Luca were like kind of like, oh, what's going on? Or like Natalia wanted to kiss Luca, but then she's like, well, I don't want to hurt my boyfriend's feelings. And at first I was like, well, obviously, like he wouldn't have hurt feelings because he's the one that wants this open relationship. But then they
Yeah.
show text messages from her boyfriend, and it's like, hope you're not going to do anything that'll hurt me. Isn't something like that? Is that what that said?
Yeah, actually I have it written down.
Oh, good. Wow.
Where is it?
Mhm.
Um, yeah. So quote unquote, babe, I don't want to influence your night off. Do what you need to do. I just hope that doesn't hurt me. You really mean the world to me. And then I wrote, eat shit, bud. That last part
That's
was
what
on
I
me.
said. I'm like,
Yeah.
what is that supposed to mean?
He,
Especially because, like, she'll be like, what are you doing? And he'll be like, oh, I'm with my friend and 8 girls or something. Like, what?
mm, you
I'm
know
so
what,
confused.
it is, and I would put money on this. He wants an open relationship on his end, not both
That is
ends.
not how it works.
It's not, but I can just tell. I don't know the guy. I don't know, but that's just what it seems like.
Yeah. And it just, I don't know. Uh, I guess I don't understand. I'm not saying I don't understand open relationships. I understand it. And I've known people that, well, I've known people in them, but yeah, is always like a mutual decision.
Mm,
Well, and I've even, whatever. I've even told people I'm in my clients, like, it can't be a one person's decision. That's not how that works.
yeah,
So
but
I don't
there's a
know.
lot of unhealthy people out there.
I guess. Yeah, whatever. So I was just confused by that. We'll see what happens with that. And then we get into the next charter, which uh is that guy that's been on like literally like this is his fourth time, I think. Roy Orbison Jr.
Yeah, third or fourth time.
I don't know. How do you feel about this group?
They, I don't know, like his worst crime is getting too drunk and acting stupid.
Yeah,
And they always show it every single time. Um, so I don't really have anything bad to say about him. But he brought on Aaron from Jackass,
I know. I was like, that's the most random thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, but
right?
I was a huge Jackass fan when I was younger.
Yeah, we
Like,
both were. Yeah,
I remember before streaming was a thing, going to Video Villager or Blockbuster or whatever and renting all of them. They were like my favorite. I like loved them. I loved Steve-O. I loved Bam. I was like obsessed with Jackass for a while.
I know. Yeah,
So
it's so funny.
it is. It really was. I mean, it still is, but it really was when I was younger too. But um yeah, I don't have anything bad to say about them either. I want to know the dynamics of the fact of them getting on the boat so many getting on the show so many times, because I'm not gonna lie, they're
Yeah,
not the most entertaining. You know what I mean?
yeah. I
Like, that's my question. Like, I don't know them, I don't have anything bad to say about them, but they are arguably been on the show more than anybody besides that guy that I can't remember his name that was on Below Deck original
mm,
with Captain Lee a few times with the whole Kate situation. I don't even know if you remember that. But
yeah, it's been a while.
yeah, that's I guess that's my question is like, how does this guy keep getting on the show? Like, is he just got so much money that he'll pay double
Yeah,
of what anybody else will? I don't know.
I Because yeah, it's not like he's a household name. I've never heard of the guy before Below Deck.
Yeah.
What I the only thing I can think of is like you said, he's either paying double, which I don't really see. He doesn't seem like that type of person. I think Captain Sandy just genuinely enjoys their company.
That's what I was thinking too. Captain Sandy
Yeah,
might have something to do with it.
I think she just really likes them.
Yeah. Or they're like actual friends off TV or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, I literally have Aaron from Jackass will be there. LMAO, what?
yeah.
So random.
Doesn't it suck seeing those guys having white hair now and like getting old?
It sucks seeing, yeah. I mean, they've like, I mean, and I think he's like a stunt person too, like,
Yeah,
in movies and stuff. And like, God, yeah. What did he say? He broke his back like 3 or 4 times or broke something.
yeah. He said in Jackass 2, he broke his neck twice. I think
Mm.
broke a rib, and then the last Jackass movie ruptured a testicle.
Oh my God. Yeah, they just, but I was also obsessed with Johnny Knoxville too. Johnny
Yeah,
Knoxville is like, well, you won't understand this because obviously you're not attracted to him, but he's like so weirdly attractive. And forget what I saw this on. But he's like also weirdly attractive to like gay men. Like gay men actually like love Johnny Knoxville.
really.
Yes. But I'm like, you know what? I like thought he was really attractive when I was younger too. So there's just something about him. He's not like that classic. And of course he's getting old now. So it's like, oh.
Yeah,
But yeah, it is kind of sad to see them getting old because you're like, no, that means I'm old.
yeah. I know. Yeah, and I guess this is changing the subject a little bit, but Natalia said that she was 26 in the episode. I'm like, ow, ow, ouchie, ow,
Ow.
owie, ow, ouchie.
I don't remember saying that. Who's Jessica's probably like younger than that.
Yeah, I don't know. They don't really, I don't think they really say their ages.
Well, and then well, didn't Kyle say he's 30? I think Kyle's my
Oh,
age.
yeah, I think he's 31.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I knew he was older,
Yeah.
but I know most of them are younger than me. You're about the age of most of them, but then some of them will be in their early 20s, like 22, 23-ish. Seen a wide
Yeah.
range from 20 to 30.
And
I
I think
know.
is Luca older than me?
I'm not
I'm
sure.
I'm getting them all confused.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd be pissed. Well, actually I'd be pissed if he was older than me. I don't know. That's off topic.
It's gonna get to a point where they're all younger than us and it's gonna be
Yeah,
bad.
just inevitable.
So Jessica goes to the hospital. Do we ever get an explanation as to why?
She says that she has a throat infection and she goes to Captain Sandy, and Captain Sandy does what any responsible, well, she's not a business owner, but she's the leader of the boat,
Mm,
saying, like, she can't be like, you'll be fine. You're just hungover. Captain Sandy says, if you feel like
right.
you need a doctor, go to the doctor. My
Interesting she said
opinion,
throat infection though.
I think she just threw up a lot in her throat hurt. I don't know.
Yeah,
Not a doctor. I wasn't there.
that's true because I've been there
Oh, yeah.
with like the stomach flu. I don't think truly I've never been there like drunk wise. Like when I puke, it's only a couple times, but like stomach flu, when you have the stomach flu, your throat hurts at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Maybe that was it. I think she also saw, or I think I also saw like on Instagram or something, she also was trying to say it was because she had bad food. She thinks she had bad food at dinner too. So
Don't
I
you
don't
dare
know.
say that about Jack. Oh, at
No,
dinner.
no, no, at
Okay.
dinner
Yeah.
when they went out as the crew. So we'll see. Yeah, she goes to the hospital, doesn't come back this episode.
Yeah. She says she'll be back for the next charter.
Yeah, which is like
Like, you
again,
needed
yeah, it
three
could be.
days.
I don't know if she's in the hospital. She could be just staying at a hotel,
Yeah. She
just
could
staying off
just
the
be
boat.
recovering.
Yeah. Luca decides to promote Lara, and I think she deserves it, and she's really thankful. So I thought that was awesome. We kind of saw that coming.
Yeah. I think she was crying too.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
just strikes me as someone who works really, really hard, and uh, this was definitely like the next step for her. I think she's worked really hard to be good at what she does.
Yeah, she's a bit of an oddball, but she's really good at her job.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. And then I also got the ick a little bit with Max again because right after she gets promoted, he's like, "Oh, is she gonna start walking around here like she's the leader, that she knows more?" And I'm like, "Well, she kind of will because she's the lead deckhand. Like, what do you expect?"
Yeah, and she also knows more than you. Like
Yeah.
get over it.
Yeah, and then he asks her like, "How many years of experience do you have?" And she's like, "Why?" Because
Yeah.
it was, oh, I just want to know. No, you want to know
No.
because you want to compare what you have to me. And if you get whatever, you wanting the lead, I don't know. I just didn't like it because the vibe I got from it, and this is just me speculating, this is my opinion. I don't know that he would have said the same thing if it was a man.
I felt the same thing. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'd believe it if it came
Yeah.
out. I because I was gonna say that earlier, but it right now at where we're at, it just seems like he doesn't like being told what to do by anybody.
Yes. Yeah. It doesn't seem like he super respects Luca either.
Yeah, but I could totally believe it if he was sexist.
Yeah, or just again, not that I don't even want to, you don't, we don't even have to jump to that. The real talk is that that could be just like a subliminal or subconscious thing where he wouldn't have responded the same way if it was another male deckhand. It would have been like, "Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, whatever, good job, bro." I don't know. Again, totally my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's just the vibe I got.
he's probably also a little defensive right now because he really doesn't have many friends on the boat.
Well, yeah, I don't
Like,
know. I don't know what his goal or vibe is. Like,
yeah,
he's not happy with the fact that he doesn't get a ton of breaks.
I know. It's like
He's really stuck on that.
you barely get to eat on charter, let alone take a break.
Well, from the math I did in my head, though, was that one night they let him go to bed at 8 o'clock and he didn't have to be up till 8 o'clock. That's a
Yeah,
huge break. Like, no offense. In a normal world, yeah, of course, you should get 12 hours off between your shifts. But in the yachting world, sometimes you only get 7 hours of sleep.
yeah.
So, what are you complaining about if you were off at 8 p.m. and only had to get up at 8 a.m.? Like, that's luxury in the yachting working world.
I know. Like you could watch like two movies before you need to go to bed. Like
Right.
get
And then,
over it.
yeah, yeah, you could even wake up early and have a freaking cup of coffee. Like,
Yeah, go for a swim.
So, yeah, he's just not respecting the fact that I think Luca's doing the absolute best he can and they're fully staffed and like he's just never really had to be put in a position where it's like, oh, we're a person down, you're not going to get any breaks and you're only going to sleep for 7 hours. He's just not appreciating the fact that things are pretty good.
Yeah, and I can't remember his full backstory, but he just acts like he comes from working on people's private yachts
Yes, yeah.
that
We
don't
don't know
really
that for
care that
sure, but that
much.
is the vibe I
Yeah.
get too. Like we said, we're not sure of like he comes from France, like what is the yachting industry like there, or is it a different vibe? Yeah, like, but that's a good point. I never even thought about that. Like, yeah, when you work on someone's private yacht, you don't have to work as probably as much as you do on one
Yeah.
like this. So
Yeah.
I think that's basically all we get as far as like the drama with him. I think I just have the deck team struggling a little bit towards the end of the episode. Oh, and then at the end of the episode, it ends with Lara and Max fighting while they're trying to pull the anchor up and Captain Sandy isn't happy.
Yeah. I wouldn't be happy either. I
But
mean,
again, yeah, I don't know. We'll see at the beginning of next episode if that gets solved or if it continues to get worse because it's like I feel like Luca and Lara are trying to find a way to get through to him.
mhm.
Um, and I don't know. It's either gonna continue to go downhill or turn around. One or the other.
Yeah, and I think what should have probably happened by now, which I don't know if it has, they don't show us, anything compared to the amount that they record.
Hmm.
But Lucas should have had a sit down meeting with him by now and be like,
Yeah,
hey, look, like you kind of understand what we're going for here. Like, get on board or get off.
right. The other thing too is he seems very ADHD. He seems very much like a positive about him is that he's always wanting to do something when he's not on his breaks. He's very high energy. But the con to somebody like that is they need constant direction. And um that's fine again because there's now Luca and Lara that can kind of give him that constant direction, but he doesn't always take the direction well. So it's like, okay, we got to choose one or the other because again, you're super high energy and you want to be doing things, but yet you get mad when we tell you to do things. So like what how do we fix this?
Yeah, and that energy is good for like running your own like sailboat. I feel like he'd
Mm-hmm.
thrive doing that, but yeah, when you need direction but you hate getting it,
Yeah.
where do you go from
Where
there?
do we go? Yeah,
Like
what do we do?
you're the one that needs to change. No one else can fix that for you.
Yeah. So that's it there. We'll see how that goes next episode. I feel like we'll figure that out. Interior is running really smoothly.
Hmm.
There's no more interior. Again, Natalia, Kyle, and Toomey are working really well because Jessica's not there, but you wouldn't even notice. You wouldn't even
Yeah.
notice that they're down somebody. Just they are all three of them are just very good at their jobs.
Hmm.
So it's really refreshing to see that. And oh, Natalia's being like the boat nanny for the kids, which I think is really sweet because it is helpful to have somebody that enjoys doing that. Like that wouldn't be me.
Yeah. I know, and like these people don't want to watch their kids
No,
24/7. They're paying
no.
thousands and thousands of dollars to be on a yacht. Like you can play with my kid for a couple hours.
Yes. And I think again, I think the reason is because they're friends with Captain Sandy and stuff because it's very personal preference for people, right? I would not take my tiny kids on a yacht. I would
No.
have them stay with their grandparents. But if you're gonna bring them on, I guess it is helpful to have, yeah, like someone watch them for a little bit. Cause I don't know, like this is a hot take, but like a vacation with kids isn't really a vacation. Just
No,
gonna say it. It's
not at
not.
all. It's like maybe at 10 o'clock at night after they go to bed, you get
You
to have
get
a beer.
to... I
Like,
know. And again, oh God, I'm gonna cough again.
I
It's a
thought you were
personal what?
gonna.
Ugh.
God.
It's a personal preference. Some people truly do want to bring their kids on vacation and some kids also do better than others if they're more used to it, which this family does seem like they have money, they do travel a lot and these kids do actually do really well.
Mm.
Um but some kids, I think especially some kids that don't grow up in that lifestyle when you take them on vacation, sometimes they don't really know how to act and it's not fun.
Oh yeah, I would never bring kids onto a yacht
Mm-mm.
where like the little kid's like, oh, I wonder what would happen if I jump over this rail, and then they're under the
True,
boat.
yeah.
Like
Someone's always got to be constantly. That's another good point. You would think that kids that little would always have to have a life jacket on if they're like outside.
I was just gonna say that because I'm like 99.9% sure the last time they were on the show, both the kids had to have the jackets on
Yeah.
while they were outside.
But I don't think they did this episode. Did they?
I don't know if they showed the kids outside
Oh,
or on the exterior other than eating.
okay. Well, even eating, I don't know. Maybe not eating. Maybe it's because they constantly have eyes on them.
Yeah, I mean they got like six other people
But
there.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's like a law.
Probably, yeah.
Even in like the freaking river where we live. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that's a law. So in the med, gonna guess it's yeah, required. So so yeah, Natalia likes kind of being that. She likes kids. I think that might be about it. You know, the other thing is, oh, Chef does really well at dinner.
Hmm.
Captain Sandy had dinner. She said his flavors were awesome. So I feel like that's really nice for him to hear because I
Hell
think
yeah.
he hasn't been struggling, but I think he's gotten some requests that he hasn't. totally enjoyed so far, like the vegan last charter, and now there's kids. And I think chefs struggle with kids because you don't really know the kid's palate. You don't know if the kid does like a lot of things because they've been exposed to a lot of things, or if the kid only eats mac and cheese and chicken nuggets. Like, so I think that that's tough for a chef.
Well, and like I could be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure when you get to some level of like restaurants, kids are just not allowed.
Yeah, probably.
I'm
There's no
pretty
kids
sure about
menu.
that. I could be getting that from TikTok, so I'm not going to stand fully by it,
Well,
but
yeah,
it makes
I don't know.
sense.
I don't know if there's restaurants that like tell kids like that they're not allowed, but I've been to restaurants where there is no kid menu.
Hmm.
Like there's no high chairs, so I don't know.
And I think a lot of places are going like kid free now. I saw a
Yeah.
lot of stuff on that where they're like, I had a waiter trip over a kid that the mom wasn't watching and
Yeah.
dumped out an entire family's dinner,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't make the family pay for that. So, I'm not letting kids in the restaurant anymore.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, there's restaurants for kids and there's restaurants for adults.
Yeah, like some 6-year-old doesn't care if it's Wagyu beef or,
Right.
a pizza from Chuck E. Cheese. They don't even want to eat. They want to run around and scream. Like,
Like I said, most kids I know, yeah, they'll be cool with mac and cheese and chicken nuggets, but it really just depends, I think, on how you grow up. Like if you're used to that. Like some people will bring their kids to like super fancy restaurants that they've, maybe their kids never been to and they don't know how to act. It's really
mm,
not the kid's fault. It's they don't know the difference between a super fancy restaurant or McDonald's, which is the
yeah.
point, right? Why would you bring them? They can't appreciate it. Not that I don't mean to make that sound like a bad thing, but it's true. Like the 6-year-old does not know the difference.
And he doesn't care.
Right.
He's like, I want to go play in a ball pit. I don't
Right,
really care about
exactly.
this.
I was 6 once. Yeah, if you were to be like, you want to go to McDonald's or you want to go to the five-star restaurant, I'd be like, McDonald's, like hands down.
Yeah. Like
So,
I would just always rather go to McDonald's.
yeah, that was the best. Yeah, so I think that's about it. Like we said, it ends with that Lara and Max drama. We'll see what happens with that. Hopefully they can work that out and, Max can kind of get more on board with the way that this boat runs.
Yeah. Um yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the air right now where it could either go really, really good or really, really bad.
Yeah,
Did you watch the ending credits?
I don't remember.
So, I mean, there's always a bunch of stuff in there, but the
Yeah.
three things that I saw were, and they don't really explain any of it, that's why they want you to watch the next
Right.
episode.
Yeah, they don't.
But Kyle was found by a guest like laying down on one of the couches in like the main salon. No idea
What?
what that's about. Like, I'm pumped to see where that goes.
Was he like sleeping?
He had his eyes closed. I don't know. Like, it could literally be like the guest wanted a picture of him doing that. It could be
Yeah.
nothing, but they made it seem like Kyle's sleeping on the job in the main
So
salon.
dramatic. Yeah.
It's like, no, he would never do that unless he was like dying.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, I didn't see that, so I must have not seen the credits.
So it was that. And then Toomey is talking about how Kyle's going back and forth between her and Natalia. And I'm
Yes.
like, you finally realized it?
Yes. Okay, so I
Jesus.
did see that. So I must have been selective in what I was watching because yeah, she says something like, well, if Kyle's telling me about what Natalia's saying behind her back, then what is he saying to Natalia about me? Which makes a lot of sense. I've been there
Yeah.
too, where it's like, okay, if you're talking shit about someone who's your friend to me, you're definitely talking shit about me to somebody.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I had a friend like that in college that just him and Kyle are like nearly the same person.
Yeah.
And this dude would come up to me and be like, did you hear this? Did you hear this? Did you
Right.
and then he'd be like, so what have you been up to? I'm like, nothing. Nothing at all.
Not telling you.
Following the law. That's about it.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. That's what I said. I think the Natalia Toomey drama's over, but we're gonna have to see what happens with I think Kyle and Jessica at some point get wrapped up in drama with something. So it's
Yeah.
inevitable.
Yeah, and then the only other thing that I think I saw because they led up to it, but who knows, was Natalia and Luca being in the same bed.
Yeah.
So
Something happens with Natalia and Luca and then Jessica and Luca at some point.
yeah, and I just don't see how we get there from here.
I don't either.
I think maybe Natalia's gonna either piss off Luca or be like, nope, it's just me and my boyfriend. Like something's gonna happen, and then him and Jess are gonna hook up on a night out or something. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Who knows?
It could move quick. It could all happen next episode. Who knows?
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah, so it'll be exciting to see where we go from here, but I'm glad we've put the Toomey Natalia stuff behind us. This was kind of a refreshing episode, and we got to see more Captain Sandy, which we like, and we'll see what happens from here.
Yeah.
All
Um,
right. Anything else?
Trying to think of the word of the day. You got anything?
Oh my God, I didn't write one down because you're always like got it ready to go.
I haven't ever written one down. I usually have one to go. Let's go. I already said pancakes. I like saying pancakes.
How about Chicago Blackhawks
Yeah, go
behind
Hawks.
you? Yeah, Chicago
Word
Blackhawks.
phrase of the day, go Hawks.
There we go. Go Hawks. Going
Don't
to a
look at
game.
their record though.
We're going to a game next Saturday.
We are.
That'll be
Yeah.
fun. You still owe me for the tickets.
I do.
Everybody does.
Yep. I think everyone's waiting to get paid tomorrow.
No, it's not a big deal. Okay. So yeah, secret word, go Hawks. Follow us on social media at belowdeckexperts on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Share us with your friends, of course. And we will be back next week with a new episode.
We'll see you then.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.